Hi ladies, welcome to the channel. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about how to deal with infidelity as a church woman. This video is actually inspired by a TikTok that I saw of a lady that was describing the things that she's going through after forgiving her cheating husband who cheated on her while she was pregnant. And I'm going to show you guys the TikTok video, and then I'm going to let you know what went on in my mind after watching that TikTok video.
So yes, my husband had an affair. I never wanted to come to social media with this. I have honestly just been giving it to God and going to therapy. But let's go ahead and address this comment. At the start of the year, my husband came to me and told me that a woman reached out to him on Twitter asking for help with her business. I don't know what it was about the woman. My husband has worked with many other women before this. It was just something about this woman that I was like, babe, I don't know about this. Something just doesn't feel right. And lo and behold, my intuition was correct. Said business relationship ended up transpiring into something more. When I found out that it was transpiring into something more, I fought my husband on this. I tried to get my husband to understand that what was going on was not right and that he was opening a door for him to fall into a sin that was so much bigger than what he was already committing. And because he was not hearing me, I left my home in the middle of the night, pregnant, with nothing. And it all spiraled out of control. And maybe this is where my downfall comes into play, because maybe had I not left from the house, maybe had I fought my husband a little bit harder than I had already been fighting, this relationship would not have advanced in the way it did. My husband sought comfort in this woman. She was giving him something that I was not giving him in those moments. I was definitely being quarrelsome because I just was trying to pound into his head, like, you're gonna fall, you're being tempted and you're going to fall. When I left, he fell. Now, I cannot speak on that. That is not my testimony to speak on. And I'm just gonna leave that there. In that, I decided to stand for my marriage still, and I decided to go with reconciliation rather than divorce. I never defended my husband when it came to him having said affair. I fought my husband. Like I said, I left my house 20 weeks pregnant in the middle of the night with nothing but the clothes on my back because I was so against what was going on. I don't use godly character to hide any darkness. I speak on all the time how my marriage is not perfect. I am not a perfect person. I do use godly character in sense of extending forgiveness to my husband, extending grace to my husband, as well as the woman who was involved with the affair. I did speak to her. I spoke to her on the situation. I told her how I wanted nothing more in life but to be a wife and a mom, and how I felt like that was being attacked. I spoke life into her. I told her that she was a beautiful woman, and I didn't understand how, we were falling into what we were falling into. My husband does not abuse me. You may have seen me and my husband arguing. My husband and I were arguing as a result of the affair that was going on between you and him. But to say that my husband abuses me is a little bit extensive. And lastly, to say that I have no identity outside of my husband, I just gained one of the biggest identities that I could have possibly ever imagined. I am trying to navigate this journey of motherhood while also being a wife. And it's one of the things that I prayed for so hard, and I just feel like it's been taken away from me just because of this whole scandal. I feel like I've honestly just been living in a vortex. This literally began at the start of the year, and it's currently almost the end of the year, and here I am being harassed by this woman because my husband told her that he had to cut off the affair. As soon as the affair was cut off, it just spiraled into us being these horrible people and saying that we're trying to grow. Yes, we are trying to grow. Yes, we are trying to grow. We are trying to become stronger in our marriage, and I'm trying to, it's just so much. Just so many allegations that are being made and so many lies that are being spewed from the numerous accounts that have been harassing me that this woman has been making. And I'm just tired. I'm so tired of my character being attacked because I decided to reconcile my marriage. I'm so tired of my character being attacked because I decided to be forgiving and I decided to extend grace. And honestly, I'm just ready to lay this all to bed. My husband had an affair. It was decided on to go the route of reconciliation. However, with that being the route that we chose, I don't think that it's fair that I'm being harassed. The numerous calls, the numerous emails, the fake accounts that are demoralizing my character, I just don't think it's fair, and that's just that.
This video was so sad to watch, not because this woman chose to forgive her cheating husband, but because I can tell from the way that she's narrating the story that she truly believes that she had a part to play in her husband choosing to be unfaithful. And here comes my first thought on this situation. Ladies, if you are a married church-going woman, I need you to understand that when your spouse chooses to be unfaithful, you should never blame yourself, and here's why. It is one thing to be self-aware and recognize the areas that you can improve in, but to use your imperfections as excuses for why your husband cheated on you is not the right way to go. When your husband decided to marry you and have a godly marriage with you, he became in covenant not only to you but also to God. And God, as the foundation of your marriage, knows the things that you need to make your marriage work, right? And the same God is the one who said that if your spouse cheats on you or is unfaithful to you, you are free to divorce that spouse. Now, as a Christian woman myself, I'm going to tell you that God was not crazy when he said adultery or unfaithfulness as a good basis for divorce. He had already considered all the possible situations of tensions that can exist in a marriage, such as disagreements, occasions where your spouse may not be able to show up for you emotionally or sexually, or in this case, a situation where you could get mad at your spouse and decide to leave the house in the middle of the night. But God never said that if you think your spouse cheated on you for this reason, then you must take him back, or you must think that it was the devil that was attacking your marriage. No, because cheating is literally a conscious decision that a person decides to make. There are so many steps involved before a person decides to hop into bed with someone else to where it is just inexcusable. A truly godly man will try every way that he can to work through his marital issues before he decides to take another woman to bed. And yes, ladies, this applies even if he thinks that you are the problem. There's so many things he could do. There's elders in the church. There's parents. There's family. There's counseling. And even if all that fails, he needs to divorce you and end things with you 100% before he decides to move on with his life. And I do get it that based on biblical principles, it's okay to forgive your cheating spouse, but please understand that unfaithfulness is simply a values issue, and you cannot blame yourself for your husband's unfaithfulness. You are going to piss him off multiple times in the marriage, and if you are going to be okay with summing up his cheating to the fact that you were not able to show up for him, then you have to be comfortable with the fact that he is going to cheat on you again in the future, because I guarantee you, you're going to piss him off again, and perhaps you're even going to piss him off in a worse way. So please stop blaming yourself and hold him accountable, and make sure that the major thing that is changing in this marriage is the thing that he decides to do whenever you have conflict, because conflict is unavoidable. It's gonna happen.